What were your expectations going into Vegas?
My expectations were just to qualify. As simple as that.
My expectations, it was kind of hard to judge because I am new to team. This is the first year I've had to try and judge teams as a whole instead of just looking at individuals. So a lot of my expectations came from how we did in quarterfinals and kind of the workouts that were released going into Vegas.
Walk me through how day one went for you guys.
Day one for me was the most stressful because it opened with a thruster rope climb workout, and we kind of went one after each other, waterfall style. And I was the first one out, first workout, and I was expecting it to be like a 3, 2, 1, go, but it was standby, and then a buzzer thing went off, and so I started way late, which also added to the stress, but
day one was awesome.
Yeah. Day one was surprising in the shortest of terms.
So day one started off with a thruster rope climb workout, and the way the test kind of played out to be, it was mainly a test of how good your girl was at legless rope climbs, given everybody else was at least decent at everything else in the programming. And Heather is pretty good at legless rope climbs. I've seen a few girls do legless rope climbs at competitions, and I know Heather's capacity is pretty good.
We knew we would do well on both workouts. I would say I was more surprised on our performance in workout one, the thrusters and rope climbs. Heather's fantastic at legless rope climbs, and it realistically comes down to the legless rope climb female, to how you do in that workout in general. And she crushed it. Zoe crushed it. She did so much better than in practice. I personally took some no reps that I don't usually take, so that hurt us a little bit. But at the end of the workout, I don't think we had enough to win it by any means, but taking second was a shock. I thought we'd be top 5, but second was a little bit higher than anticipated. Okay. And then worm burpee is one that we actually tested as well, actually right here. And I knew based on the scores in 2014 when the workout was originally done at the games that we would be up there as well. Definitely didn't expect to win that workout as well. So much better than anticipated, but especially coming down the floor, because we were behind almost the entire workout up until those last set of burpees. But
We've done a lot of work on the worm as a team, and really it's not so much that the worm is hard, which it is, it's how well can you work as a team, and we work really well as a team together.
Awesome.
Stuck to our plan, played it steady, and at the end our goal was to punch it as hard as we can through the last 30 reps. We got to those 30 reps probably 5 reps behind, and then we were able to punch it really hard at the end, and somehow we just passed everyone. Some teams fell apart on those last few reps, and I knew it was going to happen. But I think since it's team, I think a lot of the athletes are a little bit more inexperienced. It just happened a lot worse than what I was expecting for other teams. And since we were able to fly through that last set, it shot us to the top. We crossed the line first. We had an interview afterwards. But that was the hardest point of the weekend for me, hands down. My quads were wrecked the whole weekend because of that workout.
it was a fun day, but you had to keep your mind still have 2 more days, still have a lot to go, and a lot can change. And day 2 is usually moving day, so we were ready for it.
Yeah, good. How did day 2 look for you guys?
Day 2 was the biggest day of the weekend. So we went in after the first day. We were all kind of on cloud 9, surprisingly. We knew we were going to be doing decent, but we did not think we were in first place. And all of us obviously were checking our phones. People were blowing us up.
Day 2 was we knew going into it wasn't going to be our best day, and we were just kind of banking on the fact that we had a very good day 1 to kind of keep our morale high and just try to go in and execute.
We were nervous going into day 2. I was nervous going into day 2. With the ruck run, we knew that it was not going to be a top event for us, and I knew personally it was going to be the hardest event of the weekend for me personally.
Day 2 was the rough day. The ruck itself was probably the most mentally demanding workout we did all weekend. We sat back at the very beginning to try and stay away from the just fight, basically, that is at the beginning of those kind of races. and going in and out of teams through that first lap, I probably would have been a little bit more aggressive than we were ultimately. But taking 15th was honestly good enough.
Well, it was good. It was good to get out of the heat, but a few people were not ready for it. Like a couple girls passed out. A few had to be pulled off because like the medics were like, "You're not okay." And I think the heat got to people more than they were expecting for that.
So we start off with way too passive of a strategy. We kind of start off in the back, and then we stayed in the back the whole time, which sucked for me, but it's kind of hard to shift gears from an individual athlete to a team athlete because you have to take into account kind of how your teammates behind you are doing, which is something that I'm completely new to because once the clock starts, I'm wanting to jet out and be in a position to compete with the top. And I knew that just wasn't going to happen, so it was really hard. Like on the first lap, we were just running with a really light pack at a slow pace, and I thought we were going to try and pass people, but that was not in the cards for us. So we just had to take the first lap slow. Second lap, added more weight, still back of the pack. Third lap, still back of the pack. But at that point on that third lap, we had, I think, 50 pounds on our backs. Walk out of the door, 100 meters out of the door. Heather has a letdown.
I was nervous going into day 2.
She freaks out saying she needs to walk and that she's hurting really bad. So at that point, we start walking, jogging, kind of going back and forth. And I'm the whole time looking back, checking where other teams are. We were in 16th place at that point, and the team behind us was close. And I was like, we cannot get dead last on this event. And then at this point, back and forth through the third lap. And then all of a sudden I look over, and this team is carrying this girl passed out on their shoulders. And I was like, holy crap. And this team was a team that needed to do well today because they were a good team. They were contending to be in the top 5. So I was stoked. I was like, we got to take this. So we get back inside after that. They're still ahead of us carrying this girl. Fourth lap goes kind of the same way. Run, walk. Pretty painful to be in, but we had no control over it. Heather got through as best she could. She gave her best effort, which is all that matters. And then actually what happened at the end, we placed 16th. We were in 16th place, honestly, from the start till the end.
So after the ruck run, we had to shake that out and just keep working. And it was kind of like, let's just get through today.
And how'd you guys do on the lift?
The lift went about what I thought it was. I think we all kind of hit where we estimated and guessed. But I would say our overall placement was a hair better than what we guessed going into it.
The lift kind of like went as we were expecting. So the guys went first and they did what they needed to do. And then it was Heather and my turn. And we both hit like basically 100%. So can't really ask for more.
So it went good enough, don't get me wrong, but we felt like we had more in the tank when it comes to clean and jerk across all 4 of us. But that being said, the girls hit the numbers that they wanted to hit going into it, and that was absolutely fantastic. Event 3 that day, the old regionals workout, we made some mistakes on. John and I probably should have gone bigger on our gymnastics sets early on.
Gymnastics was rough. We kind of went in with the game plan of just break it up, don't burn out your forearms, like kind of take it as it goes. And we probably should have done bigger sets, or the guys should have done bigger sets. And then for Heather and I think the bar was a little thicker, so like our grip, forearm strength was not quite ready for that. So
we should have done way better than what we did. Truthfully, that was our worst performance all weekend. I think we got 7th, and we should have been top 4. And that's partially because I'm typically trained as an individual athlete. And beyond that, me and James' strategy, partially just from my inexperience as a team athlete, was incorrect on the pull-ups and toe to bar. And we paid the price for having a wrong strategy. So both of those combined kind of gave us the 7th place finish that we deserved.
Day 3, how did that go?
Day 3 was time to work. Like, put your head down and grind. We knew what we had to do, and if we didn't, we weren't going to place top 5.
Day 3 going in, we were in a spot we didn't necessarily want to be in. We were still in a qualifying spot. We were still in 5th, I believe, going into the day. But day 3 was all nerves all day long.
So going in that deadlift event, we started off, Heather and James started. and me and Zoe were going to go second. And we knew me and Zoe were going to fly through it, but we were also going to have to dig ourselves a little bit of a hole.
We knew that deadlift bike would be challenging for us, especially Heather and I. We, as a pair, did better than we did in practice. Although looking back at things, looking back at video, our transition times in between deadlift to bike and bike to deadlift was a little bit slow. We should have done that faster, mainly to give Zoe and John a little bit more time. But they absolutely crushed that section for them. They made ground on at least 3 teams.
So me and Zoe started in a deeper hole than we were anticipating, and we climbed back enough to make it not a catastrophic event.
John and I kind of,
They said you did well.
yeah, we tried. Yeah, it was very different biking there versus biking here. I don't know how much of it was like adrenaline or how much of it was like altitude, but
Probably both.
yeah, got on that bike and just closed my eyes, and I just kept thinking, like, you've been training for 7 years, like, don't stop, don't slow down, like, this is what it comes down to. And at that point I could hear my mom, like, her voice just like singled out and like went straight to my ear, and like her cheering, it just like drove me to like keep going. So that was cool.
So we ended up actually getting 7th in that event, which was crazy. At one point we were so far back, and we somehow came back to get 7th place, which might have been one of the turning points in the weekend.
From out of contention, very much into contention, but right now there are 20 points separating 3rd from 6th.
That last workout was, for us, a go win it workout. Yeah. We are a very good handstand push-up team. That is one of my personal best movements. Yeah. So I was really darn excited because the lunge is a lunge.
James is like a whiz at handstand push-ups, so he had a game plan of just like doing a huge set and us kind of like falling in behind him. And the goal was to each go once. We like stuck to plan on that.
It was James' time to shine, and he did. He started off with a massive set of handstand push-ups that let us start off in first place. We get to the second part of the workout in first place, and we lunged a little bit slower than everyone else, which is okay. We made a few little mistakes that did cost us some time, but there's nothing we could do about it now.
I was so stressed out and nervous, like nerves got to me that I ran to the wrong section of the worm, and everyone was like shoving me down to try to like get me in the right spot. And in that workout, like 20 seconds was 12 places. So like the whole time I was like, oh my God, like it's gonna be on me. This is why we're gonna fail. And we got on the lunge, and just, I could hear James behind me like be like, go faster, like go faster. And you don't want to just like take off because then you're gonna throw everyone else off. So gotcha. I just like slowly picked up the pace and did what I guess we needed to get to that line.
We crossed the line. I look over the team that we had to beat by 3 places. There was only 1 team in between us. So as soon as we finished, in my head, we did not make the CrossFit Games because we did not beat that team by 3 places. We're standing around waiting. James was really excited. I don't know why.
I knew that as soon as we beat the team central to us, the Ohio Brutes, that we had qualified for the games.
It just like came out. I started crying, just like hugging my team, like we did it or we didn't, like there's nothing else we can change.
And then on the big Jumbotron, they show the overall placings of all the teams. And what ended up happening was one of the scores from the previous heats came into account. So we ended up beating that team by 3 places. So in my head, when I punched the numbers on the floor, nerves super high, we were ahead by 2 points. So I was like, we just qualified by the to the CrossFit Games by 2 points.
It was like 10 different emotions in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I started feeling okay. I was telling everybody, I was like, I think we got this.
Like we're asking like the camera guy, because I got like a camera in our face. I'm crying on national television. I'm like, oh my God, like trying to hide. And
when we were standing there, all of us, our faces like in turmoil.
Yeah. So when they said 4th place, BackCountry Black, we were all like, what? What happened? So we were excited, and most of all, we were like caught off guard.
Yeah.
We were all sure it was 5th place or not.
Ultimately, the reaction that you see from us is more of surprise that we made 4th instead of 5th. So we were standing there waiting for the 5th place spot. Yeah.
when we got fourth, it was beyond exciting.
30 points. Please make some noise for BackCountry Black.
Guys! Congrats.
I've watched that video probably 100 times and relived it 100 times because it was really exciting.
And now you guys are going to the games.
Now we're going to the games. Yeah.
So we're going to CrossFit Games now.
We're going to the games.
We are going to the CrossFit Games. Truly a dream come true for, I think, all four of us. Heather's been going at it for a long time. I never thought I'd be in this position. And it's fantastic for Heather and I especially to get John and Zoe to the games after giving up an individual spot. So it means a lot for us, it means a lot for them, just means a lot for us as a team. So here we go.
Good.